И давайте попробуем начать. Итак, смотрите, какое прикольное меню. То все, что вы делаете на экране, отражается здесь на компьютере в меньшем масштабе, и там в меньшем масштабе, и там в меньшем масштабе. Обожаю это. У меня был в детстве учебник с зайцем и волком, ну погоди, где была такая же тема. Боты где? Я думаю, этот, который left-right. Не знаю. Ну, это просто странный вопрос на игровом стриме. Каждый человек имеет право самоопределяться, как он хочет, до тех пор, пока он не нарушает этим свободу других. Свобода одного ограничивается свободой другого. Моя свобода громко слушать рок ограничивается тем, что я живу в многоэтажном доме.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Если вы помните, был такой рассказ про Шерлока Холмса, про рыжих. Он то ли клан рыжих, то ли что-то такое, где человек тоже было задание каждый день в одном месте сидеть и переписывать тексты.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Я не знаю, кстати, есть ли у этой игры русская озвучка. У меня только версия с субтитрами. Я надеюсь, вы успеваете читать, что этот чувак говорит.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Короче, вот здесь вы начинаете понимать, что голос сверху пытается приказывать вам, что делать. То есть вы еще не прошли в эту дверь, но он это уже сказал. Он сказал про что Стэнли прошел в левую дверь. Давайте не будем так делать. Просто потому что... Чувак, мы тебя не слушаем.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Как меняется пропаганда этого чувака. Он такой, ну, возможно, Стэнли так и хотел.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Окей.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Но там же еще какая-то дверь есть. Давайте сразу туда пойдем.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Он начинает злиться.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every
Есть
decision by
неофициальная
yourself.
озвучка, да, окей.
I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work
Короче, как вы
aside.
понимаете, чувак, который сначала звучит просто как голос, вводящий в историю, начинает давать вам постоянно какие-то советы, потому что он наратор, он тут главный. Страшно.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Евгенийка, можете мне тебя заблочить?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
Супер, а мы могу до хлеба твоего пройтись, пожалуйста? Нам скажешь, у нас есть девка, ради которой мы все это делаем. Блин.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Мор, да, классная игра, но там же невозможно вообще...
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Доброе утро, работник 427. Нажмите N на клавиатуре. Я не хочу. Окей, ничего не нажимаю. Что будет? Ничего не будет. Мне кажется, моя жена потеряла свою одежду. Смотрите на нее. Ладно, нажмем... правда N? Окей. Ничего не происходит. H, может быть.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his
Как будто тебя
existence.
родители отчитывают. Пожалуйста, нажмите 2. А могу этого не делать? Мне не нравится повторять вашу
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's
Наратор
coming back
ведет
to
себя
work.
как
One might even feel sorry for him,
кремлевский
except that he's chosen
пропагандист.
this
Такой,
life.
ты должен только есть и ходить на работу. Пожалуйста, нажмите Т. Но тут как бы нет другой опции, нельзя не нажимать букву, по-моему. Мы можем постоять, конечно, попробовать, но, по-моему, за этим не следует никакого финала. Мы просто будем вот так стоять, пока не нажмем Т. Идиоты из Твиттера, которые пришли засирать мне игровой стрим, которые начали для того, чтобы не читать идиотов из Твиттера, это, конечно, нечто. Итак, видимо, действительно ничего не происходит. Я думаю, нашла все концовки. Если я что-то упущу, а вы знаете какой-то концовки, скажите, напишите в комментариях, и мы найдем. Но вообще, по-моему, я все нашла.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Нажмите Y, чтобы смотреть ТВ, окей.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Нажмите Z, чтобы поиграть с сыновьями. У меня уже сыновья есть.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought
Не
that
знаю,
his
какая
decisions would mean
неофициальная
something was
русская озвучка,
almost
но
too
здесь главный
wonderful to
прикол именно
behold.
в интонациях этого чувака, который настолько саркастичен, настолько считает, что он управляет Стэнли. Отвратительный чел. Это ваш наратор?
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many
Почему
possible
моя
paths
квартира с
and
моим женой манекеном
destinations.
превращается в
Down
мой
one
офис?
path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby.
Это,
And
кстати,
he
он
called
описывает
it
разные
the
концовки.
Stanley Parable.
Игра в том-то и дело, что как бы нелинейная после того, как ты умираешь. Тут игра, в которой надо можно максимально разные концовки получить. Если пройти ее по тому, как говорит наратор, это игра на минут 7. Нажмите Е, чтобы рассказать детям сказку. Ну,
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again.
Почему я не могу зайти в спальню? Кто диван кладет на вход в
over and
спальню?
over, wishing beyond
Это не
hope that
очень
it would never
практично.
end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down
Этот
some new path.
конец мы
Mustn't there
получили
be?
как раз потому,
Perhaps if
что
he
мы не
played
пошли
just
туда,
one
куда
more
наратор
time.
хотела, чтобы мы пошли. Нажмите 7, чтобы сказать своей жене, что вы ее любите. Глеб, нажми 7!
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he
Ничего,
always
это шутка
has.
была.
Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Какая же
And
он
I'm
тварь?
trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Окей. Он сказал не делать. Окей, не делаем. Но также, как мы уже проверяли, ничего не произойдет.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a
Пояснить
way
так,
that
чтобы
he'll
он понял,
understand
что
that every
каждую
second he
секунду, которая
remains
здесь
here, he's
остается, он
electing to
сознательно
kill
выбирает
himself?
свою смерть.
How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Сам запер меня, сам... Пожалуйста, нажмите 5, чтобы не задавать вопросов. Мне кажется, вот это должен быть скриншот в ужасной России настоящего. Пожалуйста, нажмите 5, чтобы не задавать вопросов.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time you'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Пожалуйста, умрите. Опять-таки очень...
And I tried again.
Пожалуйста, умрите,
And
пишите
Stanley
мне
pushed a button.
последние 2 суток. Кажется, мы умерли.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Меня покорила эта игра тем, что чем больше ты не слушаешься наратора, тем больше он изменяет мир вокруг вас. И общение с ним походит на общение с живым человеком. Ну, нам не важно, что он сейчас говорит, но тут Да, just to admire it, of course, that's why. That's why.
Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Не-а.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't
Это
5
очень
years
сейчас
ago.
самая простая концовка.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of
Они
the
все
story and
предусмотрели. Все, что
no
вы
one gets
можете
to tell
сделать
him
в
what to
игре,
do, Stanley left from the
предусмотрено
platform and plunged to his
наратором, и он
death.
все
Good
это
job, Stanley.
комментирует.
Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Да, I'm very powerful. Такой, ты умер, теперь, надеюсь, ты считаешь себя могущественным. На самом деле, да, я могу позволить себе умереть.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Издевается тварь, слышите?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Нет.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply? But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Если вы помните, когда мы проходили под платформой, она проезжала над вот этой штукой. И там видно открытую дверь.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting,
Да?
Stanley.
А, ну и не на
Someone
консоли.
you've forgotten about.
Нет,
What?
стой.
Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
На DS это что?
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Он такой прям, зайди только в эту дверь. Кстати, синяя дверь... Вот она! Смотрите, синяя дверь все еще там. Что, мы зайдем в красивую красную дверь? Давайте нет. Раз синяя дверь все еще существует.
Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Так. Я думаю, мне надо сначала прочитать, что это такое. Ого, где мы?
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
Вот такие, они оранжевого цвета. Не знаю, всегда ли, но часто видела оранжевые панели, которыми сначала
And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Нет, ну правда ж так лучше.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Прочитайте последний комментарий Евгения К. И скажите, что он все еще не бот. Какой угар. Все еще идем в оранжевый, давайте.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Окей, мне кажется, ничего от этого не зависит.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective?
Кто
Be sure to
защищает
keep
честь
notes
Майкла
on your
Наги?
experience.
Нет, ребенок, не умирай. Короче, я знаю из форумов, что если 4 часа играть в эту игру с ребенком, то откроется еще одна концовка. Но делать мы этого, конечно, не будем. Мы же не сумасшедшие, поэтому нам придется делать вот так. Высокий уровень кринжа в комментах, да, просто бессовестная сволочь. Это Евгеника.
I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here?
Нельзя защищать честь Майка Наги, потому что или нет?
This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
А наратор просто решил, что нам не нравится его игра, и такой, ну если тебе не нравится моя игра, поиграй в чужую игру. И мы в Майнкрафте.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always
Я не могу прыгать,
desired,
поэтому...
a game I had absolutely nothing
Я
to
не
do
могу
with.
никуда выйти
But is
отсюда.
it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
Теперь я Марина. Морская.
This will go here. No,
Как меня
here.
выписали
And
из еврейских фамилий. Легко.
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes.
О, мне сделали
It's
домик, смотрите.
complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from
Мне
the
кажется, надо
outside.
вычитать у
You've
ботов
only gotten
некоторое
half the
количество зарплаты,
experience.
если они
Please, step
путают
inside
имена.
and make yourself comfortable.
Мне дали домик, ребят.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
О, круто, мы будем майнить в Майнкрафте, мне открыли проход. Да, он вообще офигенный, у него такой саркастический голос у актера, я прям обожаю. И, кстати, возможно, это сам автор. То есть вторая игра, которую я вам предлагала поиграть, The Beginner's Guide, она тоже этого же разработчика, и там очень маленькая команда, поэтому, возможно, это...
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
А Майнкрафт так и выглядит? Я не знаю, я не играла. То есть, почему? Если тебе не нравится моя игра, иди поиграй в Майнкрафт, там гениальная работа с изображением. Если я вам не нравлюсь, почитайте Майкла Наги.
Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save
Мне надо
this one.
почувствовать себя совершенно
Okay, new
никчемной.
game.
Я и так в России живу, как бы. Не знаю, может, потому что это не совсем Майнкрафт. Или, может, потому что это инди-игра, и они такие, ну... Это же маленький фрагмент. Сори, что я так много пью. У меня пересыхает в горле постоянно, и я болею.
Yes, I
Что
don't
это за
even know
игра,
what this
кто
game is,
узнал?
but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me
Точнее,
talk. Oh,
пародия на
it's
такую игру.
inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even
Я думаю, они
supposed to
просто
be?
меняют
I can't
незначительное
figure
количество
it out.
деталей, поэтому это не считается
Okay,
совершенно
now I'm
авторской правдой.
curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Ну, формально. Но вот это, я читала на какую игру, это вроде как должна быть отсылка, но забыла, потому что я в ней не игралась.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius.
Genius. Она так пишет. Портал? Окей. Это та, в которой мы в прошлом стриме...
What? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games.
Опаньки. Я просто оставлю тебя здесь. Окей. И я упала за текстуры, но здесь это преднамеренно. Заберите меня, пожалуйста. Здесь темно и страшно. Вот это больше похоже на инди-хоррор. Я опять куда-то упала. О! А вот это уже похоже на коридоры, как у нас на работе, только в какой-нибудь старой версии, например. Кстати, у Stanley Parable, если слухи не лгут, скоро выйдет продолжение, в котором должно быть больше концовок. Зомби. Призраки, кто-нибудь. Опаньки, свет. И тут вылетает Мишка Фредди. Мишка Фредди — это ужастик какой-то, да? Как Грэнни. Я начала смотреть одного прикольного обзорщика хорроров, Hollow. Это не наши экраны, да? Здесь, разумеется, ничего не нажимается. Так, стоп. А в той комнате что-то другое. Я хочу в ту комнату. Можно, пожалуйста? Нет? Ну ладно. Ясно.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am.
Five Nights at Freddy. Freddy Krueger?
Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Он просто ждет, пока я нажму... он сам нажал перезагрузку. Chill Art. Я загуглю, конечно. Но если я умру от страха, это будет... Ну, на моей совести, конечно, но... А нельзя продолжать печатать, сесть? Сесть и продолжить печатать. Просто... Нет, ладно. Может, нафиг его все?
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited.
Yeah?
Hours passed, then days. Had
мы немного
years gone
хотим быть
by,
Стэнли,
he
но
no
уже
longer
мир
had the
скрутился
ability to
иначе.
tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come.
Я хотела поиграть
Eventually, someday, they would
в Марта
arrive.
мертва.
Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told
Наратор
what to
очень любит
do.
разговаривать.
Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
От страха не умирают, от страха живут. Тоже верно. Поставлю себе в статус ВКонтакте, если бы у меня был ВКонтакте. Чё не ходим?
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Пытается нагнать нам паники.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Попробуем зайти в красную дверь с огромным количеством стрелочек.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Волчьи цитаты? Ауф. Ну, бывает.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Что do not jump? Еще что? Penalty for misuse of cargo lift? Penalty for jumping of the cargo lift. Окей. Мы встряли на огромное
Look, Stanley,
количество
I
бабок
think perhaps
в
we've
игре,
gotten off on
потому
the
что мы
wrong foot
прыгнули с
here.
моста.
I'm not your enemy, really.
Просто
I'm
вы же
not.
видите там
I realize that
выход.
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story
Я не
has
знаю,
been
может,
about
оттуда
nothing but
добраться, мне
you
кажется, нет.
all this time.
Я не видела
There's
такую
someone you've
концовку.
been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Да, рассказчик Мёрфиус, типа Морфеус. Красную или синюю. В синем мы уже побывали, на самом деле неважно, с какого именно раза вы зайдете в синюю или в красную, вы можете зайти в нее с первого раза. Можем пройти так, чтобы она была со стороны.
Perhaps you misunderstood.
Давай.
Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly.
Окей, хорошо. Достаточное количество. Раз, два,
through
три,
the
четыре,
red
пять,
door.
Окей, проходим
Oh,
через
thank
красную.
God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you
Vanishing
to
of
be
Ethan
happy all
Carter,
this
это была,
time?
по-моему, первая
The
инди-игра, в
problem is all
которую
these
я
choices.
поиграла.
The two of us
Я
always
её
trying to
обожаю,
get somewhere
хочу
that
её
isn't
построить,
here.
да.
Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I
Killing
wanted to
us,
stop.
Stanley.
We
We
would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution.
Вот этого.
Here, let me show you.
Я сделала вам скример в игре без скримеров. Я надеюсь, вы испугались. Да, это странная игра, потому что невозможно ее пройти не так, как не хочет рассказчик.
What are we looking for?
Но все самое интересное происходит там, где рассказчик не хочет.
Oh, it's beautiful. If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Ну, я рада за тебя, чувак, а я несчастлива. А я не знаю, кстати, в каком... Вот как определить этот жанр?
No, wait.
Куда
Where are you
идем?
going?
Я иду посмотреть, что тут. А ты куда?
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Мы потеряем все прекрасные звездочки.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Он думает, что это он над нами издевается, это мы над ним издеваемся.
No! God.
Ну ладно.
You lived. No.
Какой-то у вас плохой симулятор самоубийства.
What are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you...
This is for
God.
me.
Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself
Return
from this
of Obra Dinn.
platform
Это
over
тоже
and over to
инди-игра,
be
не
rid of it?
знаю, такую
You
погуглю
are
после
literally
стрима.
willing to kill yourself to keep me from being
Есть еще
happy.
прикольные...
Am I reading the situation correctly?
Озеро... Господи, какое-то озеро.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore.
И, разумеется, про что я говорила в прошлом на стриме, Кона. Атмосферная бродилка в заснеженной Канаде.
Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Стэнли кошка на 1/3, у него только 3 жизни.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ну окей.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Как разрешить спор с своим, как называется, коллегой по работе? И все варианты — это держать в себе агрессию и умереть.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Executive bathroom. Ну ладно. Окей.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Решаю все споры агрессии и сплю спокойно. Я решаю все споры тем, что... Ну, точнее так. Спорю я нормально, а если человек просто приходит ко мне с оскорблениями, я просто посылаю его и живу дальше. Это потому что если человек хочет тебе донести какую-то мысль, он не будет начинать с оскорблений. Gotta go, всем пока. Пока! What an amazing level of English. Gotta go.
Deeper into the
Всем
building,
пока.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of
Он
his
даже не
job.
увидит, что
Why
внизу.
did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape!
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Не угрожай мне.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Ой. Помните, у нас была похожая красная дыра в Superliminal? Ну, спасибо, что были со мной. Пока. Такого падения не живут, мне кажется.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this was. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Это не очень похоже на смерть, если честно.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Игра играет в игрока, хвост виляет собакой, да.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Button sounds. А на них можно нажать? Можно. Мы попали в музей разработки игры. Тут есть сэмплы всех комнат. The two doors. The set of two open doors with the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable design. Once the room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of... Окей, типа вся игра началась с выбора о двух дверях, и когда две двери были созданы, все остальное пошло намного легче. Варианты офиса босса или это стадии разработки офиса босса, наверное, стадии разработки.
See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example. Where were all of his co-workers? Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him?
Наратор, ты здесь? Где ты прячешься? Наратор?
Probably spend the next hour trying to solve. Then he pushed the lever before. I'm just going to make this easier.
Я поняла, наверное, мне так понравилась эта игра, потому что наратор похож на режиссера в театре, где я играла, который всегда с таким freedom ending. Неплохо. Countdown desk. Окей. Ничего не происходит. Потому что он тоже с выражением невероятной самоуверенности всегда критиковал, когда ему не нравилось, как мы играем. Zenden Levels. Список имен издателей, да, найдем все. The game is now paused. Окей, а у нас нет, кстати, такого меню, у нас есть только основное меню, да? А, нет. Есть, когда мы увидим кнопку, понятно. Так, меню паузы. Были здесь. Четыре, 3, 2, 1. А, ничего не будет. Ну ладно. Так, здесь мы будем. Эта игра прикольна тем, что в ней нет, ну как бы типично, нету окончания, которое нужно получить, да, там даже в хоррор-играх надо получить какое-то, ну, надо, например, выжить, да, спасти дочь из Silent Hill, что-нибудь такое. А здесь не нужно. Что случилось? Здесь нет никакого другого прохождения. Письма наратору. How is the game now? The game going? I hope it's good. Здесь письма наратору подразумевает, что наратор — это создатель игры. Но в принципе так и есть. Создатель игры хочет... знаете же эту тему, когда ты где-то в квесте, в обычной игре отклоняешься от квеста, и игра может просто глюкнуть и не знать, что ей делать дальше, потому что она не ожидала, что ты выкинешь такой финт ушами. Типа, куда-нибудь прыгнуть в какую-нибудь локацию, которая закрывается, и ты там останешься навечно, и нет другого варианта, кроме как перезагружать. Или, не знаю, вы пробовали в Assassin's Creed, когда у вас кончается диалог с сюжетным персонажем, но это я работала, ну, как бы пробовала так сделать в одной из частей про Эцио. Мы договорились с Леонардо да Винчи, и я... Типа, он, ну, как бы у нас закончился диалог, он просто куда-то уходит по городу. И я его убила. Точнее так, пыталась убить. Очень много раз нажала на кнопочку «Убить». Ну, в смысле, на... Мечом его пыталась убить, скрытым кликом его пыталась убить, а он просто не реагирует. У меня выключилась красивая лампочка. Список создателей игры. А где мы его ищем? Список создателей. Ау. Ладно, мне кажется, мы почти все здесь прошли. Проходили. Давайте уже продолжим.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Глеб!
But listen to me. You can still save these two.
Принеси, пожалуйста, мне powerbank.
Program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and be your only true choice.
Мне кажется, это жена наратора. Такая, не дай себе умереть. Неприятно. Но мы умерли. В очередной раз. В принципе, это очень жизовая игра. Любой путь, которым ты хочешь пойти, который условная партия, не в смысле коммунистическая, а в смысле любая, хочет, чтобы ты пошел, Она, может, даст тебе относительное счастье и шнур от Луны. Но... Вот после этого надо начать игру сначала. Потому что здесь он не выходит. Сейчас произойдет смерть. Да. Но все интересные вещи в игре происходят, если ты не слушаешься наратора и не слушаешься линию партии. Зачем ты залезаешь в камеру? Это Глеб, полетит заключенный. Уже не заключенный. Уже вот в квартире. Заключенный чуть-чуть меньше. Теперь он всего лишь моет посуду. Супер, с Луной лучше. Итак.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Нарративный смысл в том, что, ну, как я это понимаю, что также в жизни можно идти по легкому пути, который для всех одинаковый, а можно идти по какому-то неочевидному, и, возможно, в конце ты умрёшь, но зато тебе будет весело.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Тут такой лифт привлекательный. Зачем got back on track?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to
Мы
the
здесь не были
office.
еще.
He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now, in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Почему нет? Классно же.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense,
Нет, мне кажется, наоборот, путей к свободе много.
This time, suppose we don't
тот,
wander so far off track.
наратор один.
Okay.
Просто что ты понимаешь как свободу? То, что ты выйдешь к зеленому полю из заставки Windows, или что ты будешь сам принимать свои решения?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
А сюда нельзя, да? Ну ладно, давай сюда. Story, where are you? Story. Hello? Is anybody here? Hello? То же самое говорила Белль, прежде чем на нее набросилось чудовище. Опаньки. Хорошо. Мне нравится.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Немножечко похоже на игру The Backrooms.
All of his co-workers were gone. What
Ну
could it
и
mean?
этот...
Stanley
городской
decided to go
легенды,
to the
теперь уже
meeting
игру.
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Кстати, есть одна...
Okay, yep,
Блин.
it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Ну ладно, включу компьютер.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Ладно.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
В маленькой комнате.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
В этой...
Wait, what? We're
С
back at the
мётлами?
office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted
Сейчас сделаем
you, after
концовку.
everything we've been
За
through,
маленькой
you...
комнатой.
Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it.
Она
Restart.
одна из моих любимых.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Да, я знаю, там можно закрыться. Ну, я, по-моему, поняла, про какой ты, да, сейчас попробую.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Мне кажется, это реально озвучивает создатель игры, потому что, ну, голос немножко другой, как будто измененный с... Ладно, или пока линия. Но очень похожие интонации с автором, который в игре.
A choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing. Wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Я испугалась немножко. Выглядит немного как история Доктора Кто. После 5-го рестарта наратор забывает, кто он. Как в тех сериях, где доктор забыл, кто он, женился на своей женщине.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Свет пожелтее стал. Она не очень зрелищная, но она очень прикольная по разговору.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Окей, давай пойдем.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
Да, накрыто.
I never would have thought to mention it.
Просто вот, окей, на черном фоне будем читать. Это было удобно.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Да, начала, концовка начала действительно моя любимая. Друзья, время беспокоиться.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Какой же он тролль.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical melody of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Я думаю, можно его попросить. Рассказчика. Я думаю, кстати, есть симулятор голоса такого. Потому что он очень прикольный. Не, у меня не получается.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Ну ладно. Мне кажется, она больше не разговаривает.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Открылся уже туалет. О, туалет открылся. Смотрите, какой понтовый. Правда, зеркало что-то не работает. Быть богатым — это что, преступление? Совершать преступление, разве это не, ну как, типа, не круто? Что за жизнь будет, если надо будет выбрать только одно? Каждый раз, когда мы будем заходить в этот туалет, тут будет разная надпись. Но если закрыться в нем, ничего не происходит. Он такой, ну, закрылся чувак в туалете, не будем комментировать. Может, надо ему. Открылась дверь напротив. Раньше, кстати, вы видели, мы трогали, и она не поддавалась. Кто-то стреляет в панду. Business strategy. Застрелить панду в лоб. Мне кажется, не очень хорошая стратегия. Я немножечко сокращу это. Этот лифт никуда не едет. Нажимайте вверх, вниз. Он будет просто вот так вот изображать, что он едет бесконечно долго. Я оставляла так включенным компьютер, уходила пить чай, возвращалась. Лифт все еще едет и никуда не приезжает.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Where freedom meant nothing. Мне нравится, как он говорит максимально лично.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Oh, Stanley. You didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless, to see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
И мы умерли. Опять. Если каждый твой шаг предопределен за тебя, возможно, жизнь не то, чтобы этого стоит.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic, like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Давайте сходим вниз и проверим, что в подвале. Классный свет красный.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Не сработало.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
На самом деле очень глубокая
This is
психологическая
the
история.
story of a woman named Mariella.
Это концовка.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran. Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. What a room, Stanley thought to himself. What a room, what a room, what a room. This is what Stanley thought. What a room. What a room, what a room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third-world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack and crack."
Сори, я говорила и помешала вам слушать на английском, и на русском здесь нет субтитров. Practice.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Заперли в чулане, показали образовательное видео. Теперь выпускают обратно, видео, где все улыбаются и хорошо одеты в галстуках. Помните, раньше тут не было решетки?
We can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Спасибо. Открыли мне дверь. Ну ладно.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Восхитительный актер озвучки.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Нет, sorry.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Окей, все закрыл мне. Ненавижу натыкаться на текстуры. Особенно, когда в открытом мире, например.
It's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
О. Размер стула специально под Майкла Наки. Ну да, есть такое. Это как в детстве я, типа, брала все маленькие вещи.
I'm here.
Такая, это для Барби.
I'm still here in this pile of rubbish.
Размера.
With you, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Зачем?
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Да все равно все уничтожено, чувак.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ха-ха, моя любимая. Кабинет, видите, по-другому выглядит. Ну, разумеется.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
И сказать ничего нельзя, то есть на панели с кнопками можно было нажать. Он немножечко изменил, что голосовой ввод. И нельзя, а дверь выглядит интересно.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115.
Night Shark 115.
Right there on the
Ничего,
wall.
разумеется, не происходит.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Ну, что ты пристал? Я не могу.
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose.
Ну, Дэйви тоже крутой. Ну, Дэйви это все придумал.
Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it.
О, Кевин Маклеод. У него музыка лежит.
Are you there? Are you listening to this?
В ВК-группах типа музыка без авторских прав. Интересно, он знает об этом?
You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Какой же приунывший наратор. Никто его не слушает. Да, она... Вот я говорю, скоро выйдет, возможно, делюкс-издание, в котором будет больше концовок. Я обязательно...
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Какие концовки мы еще не получили?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
А мы в прошлый раз не зашли в туалет, посмотреть на новую надпись. У меня чувство... мне кажется... Блин, кстати, тут еще прикольнее обои именно по оттенку. Мне кажется, что деньги существуют для того, чтобы их воровать. Но не ваши, конечно. Blue? Belly? Lovely. Lovely. Это say для so, наверное, so, зачем? Например, эту милую сумочку. Extreme Bathrooms. Вау, какая. Реально офигенная игра. Я увидела и влюбилась. Кстати, тут разные паттерны всех этих винтажных обоев.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Да, я уже поняла, что ладно. Почему вы... Откуда вообще берутся плохие эти почерки у всяких врачей и так далее? Разве когда ты что-то пишешь, твоя цель не в том, чтобы это потом прочитать? Или чтобы кто-то другой прочитал? Ну, обычно так бывает.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ладно, получим сейчас правильную концовку. И потом бонусом еще одну.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
В принципе, по-моему, мы нашли все концовки, которые я находила. Если вы знаете что-то еще,
Now the monitors jumped to life. Their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Компьютер, зеленая коробка. А, и здесь тоже дальше, над ними тоже зеркально. А нет, над ними одинаковые в одну сторону. Ладно. Как можно застрять на прямой дороге, Стэнли? Может, ты там утекаешься?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true.
Воистину воскрес надо отвечать.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never.
Алекс, что-то
It
такого
was
надо было
unthinkable,
потом отвечать.
wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Ого, вы
But here was the
к концу
proof,
пришли
the
все?
heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Окей. Это та концовка, которую хочет от нас наратор.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Так, и последняя концовка, которую мы получаем, это когда надо очень много раз перезапустить, начать игру сначала. Сейчас. Я не знаю, сколько по количеству раз, но пока стены не станут синими. Если я забыла какую-то концовку, про которую вы знаете, слышали, нагуглили, скажите сейчас или молчите вечно, потому что это последняя концовка, которую мы сделаем. Я, если честно, больше концовок не помню даже. Ну, в смысле, не находила. Мне кажется, офигенно интересно быть таким первопроходцем, который заходит и первый находит все эти фишечки и составляет список всех концовок и ищет, сидит такой, как пасхальные яйца. Да чё ж ты не перезапускаешься? Давай. Синие стены. Я не знаю, с какого раза это должно произойти. Сейчас? Нет. Будет прикольно, если в прошлый раз я, например, сделала так 7 раз, и игра это запомнила, и теперь это сделает мне это с 20-го раза. Ну, камон. Козловский. Вот, наконец-таки. Если кто-то считал, сколько раз это было? Миллион миллионов.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Вот. The whiteboard ending. Welcome to the whiteboard ending. Это все. Просто окончание белой доски. То есть вы просто перезагружаете пока-нибудь синие стены, заходите в комнату номер 426 и вуаля. Я не помню, будет ли что-то дальше сейчас. Все хорошие концовки, все умерли. Но умер только Стэнли. Кажется, мы с вами все сделали.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay.
Чего? Ты раньше писал, что красивая комната. It was not okay. Это лучшая комната на свете, смотрите тут. Диванчики, жалюзи. Это же... да, жалюзи. Или жалюзи только которые горизонтальные, а это просто раздвижные шторы.
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Ха-ха. Походу, только что нашли вещь, которая
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Я не знала, кстати, мы случайно с вами увидели новую концовку. Окей. Стоим еще немного.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Так, окей. Наратор. Ну, наратор, скажи что-нибудь еще. Давай. Да, видимо, правда, больше ничего нет. Ладно, тогда мы на этом будем завершать. Спасибо, что пришли. В общем, на самом деле, когда рассказчик говорил «будьте как Стэнли», он имел в виду, как называется, следуйте тому, что вам говорят. И мне кажется, учитывая то, что за Стэнли мы сделали очень много странных и смешных вещей, и походили в кучу мест, в которые ходить не подразумевалось, мне кажется, будьте как Стэнли, значит, будьте вот этим чуваком, который не боится сойти с пути, о котором ему говорят. Потому что он смелый, он сам решает, если захочет быть в синей комнате, захочет, возьмет трубку, а не захочет, просто телефон из розетки выдернет.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Да, тут, видимо, больше нет никакого продолжения. Всем спасибо. Пока. Давайте отключаем.